Welcome back to Worldview. Last week, John Jackson, CEO of Jackson Research, joined us. If you remember, he was on the program during one of our earlier episodes to discuss embassy safety and security and door locks. And last week, he was here to tell us a little bit about the various ways in which governments around the world spy on the internet, as well as all of the things that we use in our normal everyday life. John, welcome back to Worldview.
Well, thanks for having me.
Last week we looked at programs such as Echelon and Stuxnet, etc., and those are very highly defense and commercially oriented. What I'd like to do with our segment today is give people a little bit of an overview of what they can do to protect their home and business computers from attack. Now, one of the things that we talked about, and indeed this is coming from none other than Julian Assange, is that people, he strongly recommends that all email is encrypted. How have individuals been affected and targeted, and why is email encryption so important?
Okay, the basic reason the encrypted email is so important is because if it's not, it's plain text and anyone can read it. So, for an example, not just the US government, but Google reads your email and scans everything that you're doing, including your searches, and creates profiles.
You said Google reads my email? How does Google read my email? If it's on Gmail or any email anywhere?
Any email. All of the emails are scanned for keywords.
Wow. So that level of security that one thinks they have when they're using, say, Yahoo, and they send it across, Google has the ability to look at the text that's inside there. So this is why you don't put credit card numbers and things of that sort in there?
Right. I send an email to someone asking about a lubrication oil, and suddenly I'll see advertisements for a lubrication oil at the top of my browser.
Okay, that's my first shocker of the morning here as we sit here and talk through that.
This has been going on for a while. We all know that's happening because I log into my email. They've already profiled the types of businesses that I search for and that I talk to in my email, and those ads show up in my Google email account at the top of the screen.
Wow. So much for do no harm. Now, one of the recommendations you make is that people use only a Firefox or an Opera browser and to avoid Internet Explorer and Chrome altogether. Now, that was something that jumped out at me, and obviously the first word that comes to mind is why.
Because, well, for openers, Internet Explorer has a special language feature. It's a subset language that allows it to do special things on the Internet, special graphical things, and they can even use specialized features in Internet Explorer to take control of your machine.
Okay.
So there's certain features that you have to turn off if you don't want them to have the ability to take control of your machine.
Wow. And we'll put some of these up when you shoot. You said you were going to shoot another video for us to give us a little bit more detail, but I want to run through a lot of the things that you talk about here. For example, you've recommended that everybody close their Facebook account. Now, at times I feel as though Facebook is part of my right arm here. Why should I close my Facebook account? What happens there?
100% of it is stored at a government website. It's all of your emails and Facebook and Twitter are stored on government machines in a database. All of it. And they regularly scan it. This is part of the like Homeland Security looking for terrorists or whatever. It doesn't matter what it is. They're scanning everybody's email and Facebook. Another thing that a lot of people are unaware of completely is there are computer programs that will go through your email and develop a psychological profile about you. the United States Army actually has a website, and they talk about all of these suicides that are happening in their personnel when they go back to the States, and they have a special program that sorts through all of those people, all of those soldiers' email, and creates psychological profiles to determine whether or not they're contemplating suicide.
Whoa. Wow.
So what they would do is the computer program goes through, reads your email, and creates a psychological profile of the sort you would get if you went into a therapist or a psychiatrist. And it's all in a computer file someplace on you. So if they want to know about you and all of your psychological quirks, they just have to put your name into a machine and they know all about you.
Oh, well, not much is needed there.
They say they can find out your location anywhere in the world within 10 to 15 minutes.
That's a scary thought.
Within something like 50 meters.
Okay, so the drone warfare thing is also something I should be worrying about as well. I better watch my P's and Q's here.
Orwellian society is already here. It's upon us.
Now, the other thing you say is we should cancel anything. Yahoo Messenger, AOL Messenger, Google Talk, Hotmail, all of these accounts you should close. Why?
Right.
Same reasons?
Because same reason. Well, look, Yahoo and their email and their messenger is all saved. And then the same with all the messengers and all the emails, the Facebook, everything is saved. So basically, there's what they call a Jabber organization, which is a messenger. It's private, it's non-commercial. I think it's at a university server in Switzerland. They don't record any of the information.
Wow.
Then, if you pick up there are two programs you can use. My favorite is called Jitsi, Jitsi, at jitsi.org. And this is your internet messenger. You connect to your Jabber account, and now you have complete encryption. So they can record all day long, but it's all encrypted with AES, military strength encryption. And with Jitsi, you also can have conversations like Skype.
Well, that's one of the things you say. You say to use Skype with restraint, that Microsoft has the patent for spying on Skype, and they bought Skype.
Right.
I was always under the impression that Skype was relatively safe to use. I
just read about this this morning. There was an article on the internet. I forget where I saw it. One of the major news sites. And it's on this subject. They say that Skype point-to-point can't be recorded. But if you do a conference call with Skype, then it goes through the Skype server. That gets recorded. Or the little IM messages at the bottom of the screen, those can be recorded.
So when we type messages back and forth to each other, those are all being recorded?
Right.
Okay. That's only in a conference call?
Or in a conference call, they get the video.
Okay. Well,
now, the carnivore...
There's so much more here. I mean, you tell us to avoid using cloud storage of any kind. You say use only Thunderbird email with encryption plugins. I mean, this goes on and on and on with the things that you can do. And one of the things I'd really like to encourage our viewers to do is to visit your site, jrmagnetics.com. You're going to record a short video for us because also you have some very specific tips for businesses. And rather than get too dense here for our purposes, John has tips for businesses. He has tips for personal. He'll put all of the website URLs for everything that he's talked about here on it. We'll broadcast that as a separate segment on Worldview Show. It'll be a bonus program that we'll make available to everybody, just so you have an understanding of where to find all these things. John, I want to thank you for your time. You've been very kind to join us for 2 weeks in a row, and we really appreciate the news and the information that you're able to bring us. Once again, you scared the living daylights out of me, but I think people need to be aware of what is going on out there, because so many of us just use devices and programs indiscriminately without any thought as to what actually is being captured.
Well, thanks for having me.
All right. And we'll be right back after this. You're watching Worldview with Denis Campbell.